Many American families, driven by a desire to expand their households, are increasingly looking towards international adoption. With noble intentions at heart, they often rely on global adoption agencies to connect them with children in need of a home. An Ohio couple, embarking on this journey, thought they had discovered the perfect addition to their family in a young girl. Unbeknownst to them, however, she harbored a shocking secret. When Adam and Jessica Davis decided they wanted to adopt a child, they were overjoyed. They already had 4 children of their own, but they were growing up. It was time for another child. However, they didn't think it made sense to have another biological child when there were so many unwanted children. They also didn't need to adopt a baby. They decided to search for an agency to help them adopt internationally. The Davis has started working with an agency based in Ohio called European Adoption Consultants. The goal of the agency was to give orphans the opportunity to find parents in America. That seemed like a worthy goal to the Davis family. After a short period of time, the agency called to tell the couple about a girl they located. Her name was Namata, and she desperately needed a home. The agency said Namata's father had died and that her abusive mother wanted nothing to do with her. If she did not leave Uganda, she would have no future. Although the agency said there was a fee of $150,000, the Davis decided money didn't matter. They already thought of Namita as a member of the family. They flew to Uganda to pick her up, but they had no idea that not everything was as it seemed. This was in 2015 when they met Namita. They loved her immediately. She lived in a terrible place called God's Mercy Orphanage. The couple knew they had to get her away from a filthy group home. They finalized the adoption, and soon they returned to America with a new member of their family. Adam and Jessica introduced Namata to their 4 children. They nicknamed her Mata. It felt like a perfect fit. No one suspected anything was wrong. Matza quickly became accustomed to life in the U.S. She did well in school and learned English, but as her English improved, so did her ability to communicate something big. 1 year later, Mata loved her new family and also had much better English skills. She started referring to her old life with details that didn't make sense to Adam and Jessica. She discussed her mother, her village, her siblings, and how much she loved them. This didn't match the story about Matza's life that was in her adoption file. A horrible revelation dawned upon the couple. Namata was never an orphan. She lived with a loving family, and they never wanted to give her away. The family was baffled about how she ended up at the orphanage. The couple knew they needed to do something, so they called Karen Riley, an activist who reunites trafficked children with their mothers. Riley agreed that this story was, the media often ignores, a prime example of a side of trafficking that Riley told the Davis that she'd found Namita's mother, and they immediately set up a Skype call so that she could know that Namita was okay. Namita's mother had a harrowing story. The adoption agency had pulled a common scam in international adoption. They arrived in Namita's village and started offering to match children with sponsors in the U.S. who would take their children to America for an education. The parents believed their kids were going to school in America and would soon return. They did not know that the agency was taking custody and selling the children to unsuspecting families in the U.S. Adam and Jessica were in agony because they loved Mata, but she belonged with her family. They made the decision to take Mata back to her family. They had an amazing reunion in Uganda. They were ecstatic to see her again. They were grateful to the Davis for doing the right thing and bringing her home. European adoption consultants have been doing this for years. Unfortunately, most children were not returned to their homes. The FBI intervened, raiding the office and halting their operations in transferring child guardianships. Despite this agency being shut down, other unscrupulous adoption agencies persist in defrauding individuals and abducting their children. The Davis family achieved the extraordinary by guiding a lost child back home. They are dedicated to collaborating with advocates such as Riley to help reunite more families with their children. This serves as a warning about engaging with organizations that require hefty payments and tell tales of child abandonment.